Welcome to TRS Clips, India's fastest learning portal. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit that bell icon. So coming to talking about jealousy in general as a concept, it's something I've been thinking about a lot because I feel the last 2 years, ever since the lockdown began, we've had sort of a sudden rise with podcasts, with just everything. And I've seen how there have been two big changes in the outside world and one big change in me. So the two big changes in the outside world were, one, I feel it used to be cool to follow me, and now it's considered a little lame to follow me because it's too positive and all that. And secondly, people have a problem with how happy I am. So I'm also realizing that that's how the modern world works. They think I'm forcing positivity down the throats, but that's not what I'm doing. At least I believe that I'm trying to turn people towards their own inner selves, see what's broken, and try healing those things. And maybe people are processing that as positivity. And everyone just wants someone to hate. Also, when you've reached a certain degree of mainstream success, it's not cool to support you anymore. You know, it's cool to say, "Oh, no, I hope this guy falls." It's everyone loves seeing a hero fail or a hero fall. This used to, I think, affect me initially. For maybe like a few days, it affected me. And the one big realization was something you said earlier on this podcast, which is that even the people who are throwing stones at you, even the people who are throwing venom at you, they are also pieces of the universe and pieces of God. And all you have in your own hand is your free will, both in terms of action and thought. Nor will I throw those stones back at you or that venom back at you, nor will I think venomous thoughts at you. So I've just come to that realization. I hope that that's the right way to go. And people call this a very Gandhian philosophy that you're not supposed to. That's too soft. But I've seen that it works for me because it's also the source of the happiness.
Yeah.
Whatever you do in the outside world is actually a reflection of what's happening inside. If I actually start throwing venom on the outside, I'm going to start throwing venom on the inside as well.
Right.
But is there anything else you'd like to add to this lesson of how to deal with jealousy towards you?
There is a verse in Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, which says that Titikshava Karunika Suhrda Sarvadehinam Ajata Shatra Shanta Sadhavo Sadhu Bhushanam. So it mentions a list of divine qualities which manifest within us. These cannot be artificially plucked before time. They are given. Titikshava, tolerance. Karunika, compassion. Suhrda Sarvadehinam, to be the well-wisher, genuine well-wisher of all. Ajata Shatra, not to feel I am enemy of anybody, as you said. To overcome that tendency for revenge. Ajata Shatra.
Ajat Shatra. That's my theme of my life right now.
And Shanta. Shanta means to be in peace, whatever may happen. So he says, Sadhava Sadhu Bhushanam. So he calls these as Sadhu Bhushanam. Means a soldier has the power to fight the battle. But he cannot say, give me Paramveer Chakra. The government will decide. Similarly, as we are doing our duties and serving the Supreme in the right consciousness and refraining from succumbing to these tendencies towards revenge and spite and things like that, someone is seeing that from within. Right? So the social media, gives a lot of importance to what's coming from without. But you have to also see the views from within. So he's seeing everything. Based on that, when he's pleased, he starts releasing the scope of your divinity. All of these qualities are like medals of victory given by the Supreme. So therefore, all of us need to work in a way that we are actually trying to exercise self-control. And that will do good for ourselves and also good for the world. And that's what India has been traditionally famous for. That it consists of a population in traditional times where everybody was considering everyone else as part of a larger family. And that's why people get totally bewildered with India with, 1,600 different languages and so many such diverse cultures coexisting simultaneously. So that unity in diversity is something which will be lost if we do not develop these divine qualities.
The more I get into learning about Hindu Dharma, the more I realize how much of a religion of love it is, as is the case with every single religion in the world. It always
Right.
begins as a religion of love. That's what's written in all the holy books. Uh, why do we see like our Hindu brothers and sisters sometimes nowadays being aggressive towards other faiths? It's a religion which teaches us to live and let live. People often reference the past and they say that no, we were wronged in the past, therefore now we are going to wrong. I mean, are you going to blame someone's ancestors even if they are the nicest people in the world today? Are you going to say that, how dare your ancestors have troubled my ancestors? Or are you going to say that, okay, this is the world that we live in? You are as much my brother and sister as my Hindu brothers and sisters are my brother and sister. Or are we going to say that, no, just because you're not of my faith, I'm going to reject you, I'm going to reject your beliefs? How do we as social media influencers bridge that? Because it's so dangerous to even talk about these topics, honestly. That's one goal of life. I've grown up with people of all faiths. We've made content about all faiths. I've just never understood how to put that message out there to fellow Hindus, because I've seen that there are definitely lots of people who still believe in messaging love and who believe in celebrating every single faith and spreading peace. But then there are definitely people who want to, who have destruction in their hearts as an emotion. That's not a Hindu belief. That's not what Hanumanji was. That's not what Krishna Bhagwan was. You're being a Duryodhan while looking down on Duryodhan. So that's the question to you.
Yeah. See, I think let's look at things from the perspective of a good health and diseased condition. So when we look at health industry or a health scenario, we don't see a Hindu cancer or a Christian cancer or a Muslim cancer. Cancer is cancer. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Trividham narakasyedam dwaram nashanam atmana kamam krodham tatha lobham tasmat etat trayam. He says these are the three cancers: lust, greed, anger. So therefore, irrespective of whoever one may be, one must try to eradicate and overcome these. So therefore, comparison, complaining, and competition. To compete, to complain, to compare, to criticize. These are like the cancers of the mind.
Yes, sir.
And we have to try to overcome these cancers. And, Ranveer, honestly speaking, the world is such a complex place to run. It's very difficult to understand the details of how different people manage to operate at different levels in different professions, different scenarios. So as a monk, I have my kshetra area. As an influencer, you have your kshetra area. Like that, there are social leaders who are working in a certain space for decades. There are spiritual leaders, there are political leaders, there are diplomats. So each one of them have a whole tapestry of very complex interweaving of various issues which they are grappling with. I understood this more when I started attending conferences of United Nations, where for the first time I saw how much nature is being affected. And when I saw that analysis, so I could see that a whole group of people are dedicated to understand that cause and deal with it. So I would say that at my level, I look at responses at three levels. First is an emotional response, second is a political response, and third is a devotional response. So emotional response means if someone misbehaves with me, I become totally morose and I go into depression and I become hopeless. Political response means I want to do something about it, seek justice, and then there may be a million ways in which I try to seek that justice, which can be subjective. Then the devotional response is, how do I see in that particular situation what is the message for me to learn and grow through that situation? And therefore, that devotional response is something which I have been personally trying to practice and sharing with people in our capacity as practicing monks. So, our field is limited to the scope of helping people, deal with a devotional response positively. Just like Vasudeva had 6 sons, he lost all the 6 sons. Then only Krishna came as the 8th son. So therefore, Vasudeva had every reason to be hopeless, but still he had hope. So we are focused in that paradigm. And there are many who are focused on a political paradigm, on another emotional paradigm, and therefore they would have their perspectives on many of these things. So it's at the same time, whatever I speak would only be based on hearsay and based on interactions which I've had, but I have not spent quality time in that particular space to be able to give a substantial answer, because my focus area has been personal practice of spirituality and sharing spirituality with others, preparing them for a devotional response.
Yeah.
But many are preparing just like Mahabharata, So Krishna, when he spoke the Bhagavad Gita, he was preparing Arjuna for a devotional response. And at the same time, the entire Mahabharata is also about the political response. Whereas if you see the Bhagavad Puran, it is all stories which invoke and inspire devotional response. So therefore, even within scriptures, there are different categories. And even among spiritualists, there are many who have dedicated their lives for using spirituality to transform society and influence politically and socially.